So it is the day after the game before, and while Arsenal were, having their league title wrapped up, Tottenham Hotspur were fighting for their lives against relegation, and that fight is still going to continue because we didn't manage to get a draw at Chelsea. Pretend to be shocked about that one. I'm just going to do a little side note here. The amount of people that thought for some reason this game was going to be just like a walk in the park for us. I don't know if it's just like a sort of new wave of fans and confidence. And again, I know being super optimistic does great for, social media views and clicks and things like that. And, if I came on here before every game saying, oh, we're going to smash them 3-0, I'd be doing a lot better for it. But the fact that people were super confident that Chelsea's form meant they weren't going to turn up against us. Have people seen anything of Tottenham versus Chelsea in the last? Well, I've been alive 29 years, so the last 29 years, because that game last night was possibly the most predictable thing I've ever seen. And I think just once again, the overriding feeling is that this team has such a lack of quality. It does. Across the board pretty much. But, I mean, once again, I felt like, the back four were doing their job. First 10 minutes, we were looking solid, we were nice, we were having some nice patterns of play. And then every time we get into the final third, we just don't know what to do with it, or we make the wrong decision. Every single time. And I know our squad is threadbare, and we don't have the luxury of changes. But my God, Richarlison and Moani especially, I give Tell a little bit of a let off because he's bright, he's raw, he tries things, he actually gives it a go. But Moani and Richarlison last night may as well have not been there. Kolo Moani last night, I think that was one of the worst performances I've seen in a Spurs shirt. He for the first 10 minutes, he was sort of, getting the better of Cucurella, dare to say it, but then doing nothing with it. There was a time where he spun in behind him and then just jogged and then just hit a nothing pass into the box and it got cleared out. And then from that moment, just nothing was going right for him. Just everything bounced off him. If he should have crossed, he passed. If he should have passed, he crossed. That was, without a doubt, one of the worst performances. And again, last night, he reverted back to type in terms of just a severe lack of sort of effort and fight at a time when we needed it most. He looked like he couldn't be bothered. And I said it last night on TikTok, and I stand by it. Even if we stay up, if I see a single person saying that, we should make that permanent, I don't care if they're giving him away for free. We should have absolutely no part to play in that. And to be honest, regardless of what our options are looking like, I don't want to see him playing at the weekend. I really don't. Last night was absolutely horrific. He wasn't the only one. I thought Paulinho, for the first 10 minutes, was doing a good job of sort of trying to sort of manage that attack. They had Enzo and Palmer just sort of rotating. And then after that, Palmer was just walking him like a dog. Palmer was just spinning him inside and out every single time. So don't get me wrong, Kolo Muani wasn't the only one, but Kolo Muani and Paulinho especially stuck out because they both pretty much stunk up the gaff, and I don't think there's much dispute in that. Now, it wouldn't be a Tottenham game without some contentious decisions, would it, really? Because I'm still baffled by that corner kick and the penalty that wasn't given, because I'm sure you've all seen the images, looked like the ball's in the air, Van de Ven's still on his feet, and yet Cucurella gets booked for the foul, but the penalty doesn't get given. So, I don't know if someone's doing some Photoshop, someone's going for some, engagement on Twitter, because the picture looks solid to me. But somehow, that wasn't given as a penalty. Again, Cucurella committed the foul, got booked for the foul, but we didn't get the penalty. I don't know if there's been many other examples in the Premier League this year where that's happened. But that, again, just feels like this ongoing list of things that just aren't going right for Tottenham at the moment, because that's new to me. I will tell you, though, the less contentious decision and the damn right incompetence was to not send Liam Delap off. I don't care that he looks at the ball for the split second before he elbows Spence, but he is looking at Spence the whole way with his arm out. It's almost like he lines it up. He's got his arm up, he's looking at Spence, the ball's coming, looks away, bosh, straight to the face. The fact that Jed Spence has even come out and posted a video of it shows that, it was an absolutely outrageous decision. And I'm sorry, the club have got to start doing more when it comes to these refs, because it's probably going to be too late by the time they do. Because the penalty against Leeds should have been given, and Delap should have been sent off. And I know there was only like 15 minutes left after that, but like we suddenly made chances then. And if they've got one player less, who knows what could happen? Yeah, they stick all 10 of them behind the ball, but do you know what I mean? It'd be nice to have that chance. I genuinely don't know how anyone can look at that and tell me that it's not a red card, because it just, matter of fact, is. And I won't really be debating anyone on that. But yeah, there really isn't too much more like to say about the performance as a whole. It was pretty lifeless until James Maddison came on. If there's any way that we can, inject him with anything needed so that against Everton he can start, because as soon as he comes on, you can see the technical level that he's got compared to everyone else in that squad. He's the only one trying to make things happen. He's the only one willing to make something happen. There was at one point, there was an overhit pass that went all the way down to their corner flag, and he was the only one busting a bollock to get to it. Like, his ACL must have been screaming at him. But once again, James Maddison is our only sort of shining light at the moment. That chance that he had will haunt me probably forever, because I don't think you can blame him. It was an unbelievable block from Hato. But you just the perfect moment would have been Maddison getting that equaliser to ensure our safety. But, unfortunately, it wasn't to be. This dreaded season now carries on until the final day, where we just need to not lose. Like, that is all. I think there's 8 possibilities in terms of us winning, them losing, and all, and one of them results in us going down. But if we can just, for once, just turn up, please, in a week where Arsenal are going to be, parading that trophy around. They've got a Champions League final, I think next weekend, and we're just going to be sat there. Do you know what I mean? Possibly in the Championship, having to watch our biggest rivals lift the 2 most prestigious trophies in football. So if we can ensure that doesn't happen, because to be honest with you, I've made my peace with Arsenal winning the Premier League, a couple of weeks ago. It's all about what we can do. But at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be possibly the worst week ever. Arsenal lift the title in the same week that we get relegated. How do we as an institution come back from that? How do we as fans come back from that? And, it's still so much in our hands. We have a game at home against Everton. I don't think they have Europe. I don't think they have anything to sort of play for other than pride. But my God, do we need to show up there with some real intent and just make it happen? Because then we can wipe the slate clean of this season and forget it ever happened. But this club cannot get relegated. Before some smart ass, if you're even at this point in the video, says yes you can, I know we can. But this Everton game, like De Zerbi said yesterday, is bigger than the Europa League final. It is. It defines our season. Well, defines us as a club for the next 10, 15 years. If we go down, I don't even want to know what happens. So, like I said, all in our hands. Fingers crossed we can sort this out. But I'm a pessimist, so I'm imagining the worst scenario, and it's not very nice. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Anything I missed? It was a disappointing performance, massively, especially like I said on that same night that Arsenal were winning it all. So we go again, Everton. Please just help us out, please.